retreat. At some point, it is time to leave the parents. But when and where do the young wolves migrate to?
This is Alan, MT3, whom we caught on the 13th of March 2009 and fitted with a GPS collar. First he spent 6 weeks at home with the pack, and then at the end of April he left and migrated, at the age of 12 months. And surprisingly, he quickly migrated all the way to Belarus. He covered a total distance of 1,550 kilometers. Just before Alan, we fitted one of his brothers, Karl, with a collar, and he did something fascinating. In March 2009, he made an excursion of about 150 kilometers from home and then came back. After that, he was mainly at home, but went on all kinds of expeditions in different directions from his parents' territory and had a good look around in other territories and covered nearly 200 square kilometers on the way.
In Germany, encounters between wolf and human are, if at all, only dangerous for the animal. Since the year 2000, 26 wolves have been run over. This young female didn't die as roadkill.
There's a round hole here.
Since the year 2000, 8 illegal shootings have been registered in Germany. The actual number of cases is probably much higher. The military training ground at Altengrabo near Magdeburg, home to the first wolf pack in Germany outside Lusatia. Here too, the wildlife does not live in constant fear of the wolves. Vigilant roe deer disappear quickly into the undergrowth. Wild boar sometimes even turn the tables and attack wolves in order to protect their young. High summer. The wolves' meeting place in Altengrabo is next to a pond. The pups are out on their own. A refreshing bath is just the thing. At first, there's no sign of the older wolves. In the end, the father misses his offspring by just a few minutes. Their scent still hangs in the grass. This penetrating look may, to some people, seem evil. Others say that wolves can see straight into the soul. Biologists, however, regard wolves as a normal and important part of our wildlife. Back in Upper Lusatia. In the territory to the east, Gesa and Ilka check a camera trap that is triggered automatically. At night, it takes pictures with an invisible infrared flash.
56 pictures and 65% battery.
The photos are stored on a memory card.
Oh, wolf.
Look, here he comes.
That's the male.
Yeah, and he's reacting to Jacques.
Look, he's having a wee. And now he's marking above it.
Look, here she comes, the female.
Pairs of wolves regularly mark their territory. It has to be big enough to enable the parents to catch enough prey every year to support a family. When the offspring are old enough, they migrate. That's why there are relatively few wolves over a wide area. The pair go on patrol. There is no howling to announce the hunt, and no yearlings are called to join in. The wolves have to roam their territory until they find prey that isn't looking out properly. Usually prey that is young, sick, injured, or very old. The stag notices the wolves in time and immediately moves some distance away. Not every encounter between wolf and potential prey leads to an attack. Far from it. But do wild wolves behave similarly in other parts of the world? To find out, Sebastian travels to North America, to the oldest national park in the world. Yellowstone. Might he even be able to film wolves on the hunt here? Humans don't hunt in Yellowstone. That's why the elks and other wildlife are also active during the day and don't mind being watched. Wolves were eradicated in the park to protect the peaceful herbivores, which promptly multiplied unchecked and destroyed their own habitat. To bring nature back into balance, wolves were reintroduced in 1995. Winter is the hardest season for elk, and the best for wolves. '06, the mother wolf of the Lamar pack, tests an elk. Can she attack without risk? But the elk cow is determined to defend itself. David Meach assumes that the prey doesn't live in constant fear of the wolves.
If you were to look at the life of an individual prey animal, once it survives being young, most of these prey animals live for a long, 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 long time. And it isn't until their life's end that they end up getting killed by wolves. So they really don't have, I don't know why they would have a fear, because they've survived. It's hard to believe that they're stressed.
The cow is surrounded. But do wolves only hunt in packs? It's soon obvious that, for the young wolves of the Lamar pack, this is more of a game. They still have a lot to learn. Bored, the father wolf turns away. In the meantime, the mother wolf is moving around on her own again. She spotted some potential prey. An elk calf. She quickly wrestles the elk to the ground to avoid dangerous hoof kicks. Within 2 minutes, the prey is dead. The mother didn't need the pack to hunt successfully. Experienced parent wolves usually hunt on their own or as a pair. 2 adult animals can provide for their large families well enough. The female brings her family to the dead prey. Do the adults nip at the young to keep them away so they can eat first? No, because the parents want their offspring to grow up big and strong. So why is the idea of a bitterly competitive hierarchy in the wolf pack so enduring?
There is the whole idea in humans of leaders and people who are dominant to others in that. And I think that when they see this in wolves, they seem to see a similarity or something. And yet, in a lot of cases, the wolves seem to be more peaceful than humans in a lot of respects.
A cold February day in Lusatia. It's mating time for the wolves. GPS wolf Carl has grown into a fine specimen of a young adult. The wolf on the ice with his family is the territory owner and also fitted with a GPS collar. Audaciously, Carl puts down a scent mark right in the middle of his rival's living room. The wound in the face may well have come from a fight with Carl. The message of the pack is clear. We don't want you here. Carl has lost the fight for the foreign territory and now has to look for his own hunting grounds. Ilke Reinhardt will continue to monitor his progress.
I'm very happy to see that things have developed so positively. That was by no means certain at the beginning. From one pack in the year 2000 and now, 11 years later, there are 8 packs in the region. That's certainly a success story. It's especially interesting and satisfying to be able to track individual wolves over a period of years and observe their history as it unfolds, and to really understand how wolves live and how they live here in the region.
Back to the Lakeland Pack's rendezvous site. Mona is now over 2 years old and still lives at home. 2 one-year-old sisters are close behind. Together, they wait for their parents. After many weeks and months spent in the immediate vicinity of wild wolves, Sebastian now knows. They aren't, as we once thought, individuals fighting for supremacy in the pack. Wild wolves are above all friendly family creatures. In Lusatia, the ancient interplay between hunters and hunted continues. There are only ever as many wolves as the amount of prey can support. The prey even benefits. The strongest and cleverest survive and pass on their genes to the next generation. The aging mother wolf Sunny had another litter this year. As Gesa Klut sees it, it's up to all of us how life with the wolves develops.
I think good long-term coexistence between humans and wolves requires a willingness on our part to tolerate the fact that the wolves are here and to solve any problems that may arise. We have to be constructive and open to the fact that this aspect of nature is returning to Germany.
18 months after losing the howling contest, Carl has done it. He has his own territory and a mate. And his first major deed has been to father 6 pups. Germany's wild wolves will continue to spread. So far, their return has been a success story and a chance for nature, with, it is to be hoped, many new chapters to come.
Nigel Slater er klar med tips til en hel uges nem mad med det, du lige har ved hånden. Se med om lidt.
Mit navn er Lars, og jeg er på vej ud i naturen for at lave et enestående eksperiment. Jeg vil observere et dødt dyr i skovbunden, døgnet rundt, for at se, hvilke rovdyr, der kommer til middag. I 11 dage vil mine kameraer pege på det døde dyr og filme ræven, ørnen og måske den tilbagevendte ulv.
Følg eksperimentet på fritv2.dk og hver dag i Frihuset.
Jeg er kommet med et gammelt maleri.
Alle gør et kub.
Jeg håber på et sted mellem 20 og 30.000.
Og Lauritz.com er stedet, hvor hele Danmark jagter den gode handel.
Han er en rigtig spændende dansk marinemaler.
Kan jeg få den her for en hund?
Kræmmer Erik leder efter fantastiske fund, han kan sælge på Laurits.com.
Hvad siger hun? Hvad sagde du, en 50'er? 60.
Gør Erik et kup, og er maleriet 30.000 værd. Fantastiske fund på TV2 Fri i aften 21:15.
Hej. Du har måske hørt, at Gul Strøm leverer præcis den samme strøm som alle andre elselskaber, bare billigere. Måske tænker du, hvorfor er Gul Strøm så billigere? Jo, alle elselskaber, også dit nuværende, køber strøm på den nordiske elbørs Nordpool. Men vi er de eneste, der sælger strømmen direkte videre til dig, uden fortjeneste. Det er derfor, vi er billige. Så tænker du nok, hvad lever I så af? Vi tager fast 29 kroner om måneden for at indkøbe strømmen for dig. Hverken mere eller mindre. Det er det, vi lever af. Det er enkelt og gennemskueligt. Der er ingen skjulte gebyrer og heller ikke nogen bindingsperiode. Så ring til os nu på 80 20 60 70. Det tager kun 1 minut at skifte.
Gul Strøm. Billig el uden binding.
Har jeg fortalt om dengang din tip-tip-oldefar løb tør for sukker? Han ledte overalt. Imens puttede bærfolkene ekstra mange bær i den store gryde og naturens eget sødemiddel fra steviaplanten. Så da tip-tip-oldefar kom tilbage, havde de lavet en ny marmelade. Og heldigvis synes han, den smagte helt fantastisk.
Signatur er til dig, som vil spare på sukkeret, men ikke på den gode smag.
Med Viasat kan du noget helt specielt. Du kan tage underholdningen med dig.
Superskud og et supermål her.
For med Viasat er Viaplay inkluderet. Se hvordan på viasat.dk.
Prøv at høre her, Amanda, du spiser slet ikke varieret nok. Altså, jeg har tjekket din knoglekonto. Du får alt for lidt kalk.
Får du også for lidt kalk? Gå på knoglekonto.dk og tjek familiens kalkbehov. Og på apoteket eller i Matas og få gode råd.
Air Berlin. Your airline. Flyv fra København til Düsseldorf eller Berlin. Og derfra videre til resten af verden. Glæd dig til over 150 destinationer i 40 lande. Inklusive bagage og enestående service på alle Air Berlins flyvninger.
Air Berlin. Your airline. Klasselotteriet ønsker alle et godt nytår. Og det bliver godt. Der er nemlig 552 millioner i årets gevinstpulje. Vi glæder os til at udbetale 120 millioner gevinster i 2014. Det bliver et godt år. Vi starter med 46 millioner i januarpuljen. Spil med senest den 13. januar på klasselotteriet.dk.
Det gør ikke noget, hvis det er en af de morgener, hvor du har lyst til noget lækkert at starte dagen på. Du ved bare ikke helt hvad. Der er også en smag til dig. Som vores Vaser Sport. Opdag en ny smag fra Vaser.
Det sekund, man trykker køb, det er bare sådan noget, yes, nu skal vi afsted.
Klik. Yes.
Man får meget for pengene, fordi man bruger et par måneder på at glæde sig.
Ja, og der er fødselsdagsrabat til dig, der bestiller i god tid på bravotours.dk.
Vores kunder vil have faste lave priser, så det får de. Gul Pris er discount på en masse dagligvarer, så du kan spare penge hver gang du handler. Gul Pris er ikke tilbud. Det er faste lave priser hver dag. Gul Pris er varer til discountpriser i Spar, Eurospar og Min Købmand.
Nigel Slater sætter mad sammen på en nem og ny måde. Gå med i hans køkken.
I'm Nigel Slater. I'm not a fussy cook. I just like really tasty, simple suppers. I believe delicious food raises the spirits like little else.
Completely delicious.
As autumn draws in, I'm creating a week's worth of simple ideas that will comfort and warm up your taste buds for the cold months ahead.
The weather can play a big part in what we fancy for our supper. When it starts to get a bit nippy, what I choose to eat can change dramatically. I always go for something comforting and warming. It's mood food. Something to cheer us or to warm us up.
I'll also brave the elements on an allotment to cook a warming pan fry straight from plots to plate.
Just tuck in, I think.
I can't wait.
With the right food, a rainy night at home can feel like an absolute treat.
When the weather gets cooler, my cooking gets a little bit spicier. I don't mean really hot, I mean just a lovely earthy warmth. And for that I use the mild spices. And I could add them straight to the pot. Sometimes, if I've got a little bit more time, I like to give the spices a chance to get to know the ingredients that they're with. So I make a little spice rub.
You can use this spice rub in many dishes, but tonight it's the basis of a Moroccan-style chicken casserole. To start off, crush a few cloves of garlic in a mortar and pestle and add some salt to help get a grip on the garlic.
You get a nice squeegee mess of garlic and salt. Then I can put in a few spices, like a little bit of paprika. This has got quite a smoky flavour to it. The most earthy of them all, turmeric. These are not hot flavourings at all. What they add is just a warm back note and a little bit of cumin seed. Now, so that I can rub my paste into the chicken, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. It can be olive, can be groundnut, can be whatever's around.
You can experiment with the different spices to suit your own taste. Just make sure the mixture is runny enough to pour, but thick enough to coat the chicken.
And that literally all gets mixed together. I love this bit.
For a deep flavour, leave your chicken in the fridge overnight. But if you're in a rush, just let it sit for as long as you can.
This is quite cool weather food, so it needs a little bit of depth to it. And there's no better way to introduce sweet depth to your cooking than with some onions.
Throw the onions into the pan and then add your marinated chicken. To bring some freshness into this dish, add some thinly sliced lemon halves. Keep them thin, and the lemon will take on a sweetness. You could add some stock, but I'm just using water to create an uncomplicated sauce.
And that will be fine as it is. But I feel like just being a little bit extravagant and putting in one of my favourite spices, which is a little bit of saffron. Saffron adds warmth. A little bit of salt, a little bit more black pepper.
Leave it all to simmer for about 15 minutes.
That's got a kind of North African scent to it with the lemons and the spices.
So to contrast with that, I'm going to add some salty olives and some fresh coriander.
That's what I want to come home to on quite a cool day. Something earthy and sweet and a little bit spicy.
Use chicken on the bone, as the meat will stay moist and succulent. Growing your own doesn't have to stop when the days get shorter. As autumn approaches, I start to think about what I want to eat in the winter.
So what started out as a summer bed full of peas and runner beans is going to end up as a winter bed. I'm trying to get over my hatred to Brussels sprouts. And I reckon if I grow them myself, I'll feel a lot warmer towards them. So this year they're going in, and the plan is that they'll be ready by Christmas.
It's been a wonderful season so far in the garden, but it's not been short of its disasters.
I was getting so excited about my fig this year. I had masses on there and they were all ripening. And then there's a disaster. And the trunk has split. All this happened in the pouring rain. And all my beautiful ripe figs, I mean, he'll probably still ripen, but a lot of them are never going to be edible. And it's such a shame, because I like my figs. when the weather cools, I like a proper pudding. But I still like fruity puddings.